Well, okay, let's just take a little look at this church-like building on the left there. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Phil, that is a church. Well, it's not. You don't know what you're talking about. That is actually what used to be a gibbon sanctuary, and unfortunately it's disused now. But back in Sixtington, during the Turkish Chocolate War, the gibbons were at massive risk, so they were shipped over to England, and the majority of those gibbons were housed at Hadley Gibbon Sanctuary. A man called Mr. Jonathan Tompkinson was left in charge of these gibbons, and Mr. Tompkinson was actually a scout leader, a religious man, and he did a lot of charity work. So the people of the village of Hadley thought that he was a nice person, but what he got up to when those doors were shut was absolutely sickening. Mr. Tompkinson was granted 600 shillings a week off of Hadley Town Council to look after these gibbons, to sort of feed them and clothe them and, take them out on days out and stuff like that. But he decided to keep that money for himself, and he fed them off of what leftovers he had lying around, which, it'd be a meal normally consisting of cornflakes mixed together with Marmite and human shit. And he just let the gibbons roam around naked. Now, unfortunately for these gibbons, being deprived of food and clothing was the least of their worries. Unfortunately for them, Mr. Tompkinson was probably what's known as the godfather of bestiality. Most nights, Mr. Tompkinson would wait for the gibbons to fall asleep, and it's a well-known fact that a gibbon likes to sleep on its back. So Mr. Tompkinson would have just flipped the gibbon over and then perform what's known as the injection belly flop. Now, the gibbons certainly grew tired of falling asleep at night and waking up being rogered by Mr. Tompkinson, so they come up with a plan to lube themselves up before they went to bed. They'd help each other out, coating each other head to toe in utterly butterly, but if anything, this just aroused Mr. Tompkinson even more. When Mr. Tompkinson did manage to catch one of these slippery gibbons, he'd tie it up so he didn't have to keep catching it every time he wanted to fuck it. Now, eventually, Mr. Tompkinson had caught all of the gibbons and he had them tied up in the main hall in a row, and he'd literally just start at one end of the hall and work his way down and just be absolutely clapping cheeks. I need to stop for a moment because that's actually Mr. Tompkinson over there now. Right, he's gone. I feel so sorry for that dog. You can imagine some of the things that he gets up to. Anyway, that's kind of where the story ends. He'd work his way down the hall, fucking all of them. And then he was proud of what he did, and the people of the village kind of knew roughly these houses round here. And he'd walk up to the top of the stairs after he'd finish his disgusting day, and he'd go up there and he'd ring that bell and he'd shout out the window, "I've just fucked a gibbon!" And I don't even know why he would do that, but that's what he used to do.